Well, good morning, Woodhounds, and welcome back to the Back 40 Firewood channel. So as you saw, I have a whole big pile of wood that was dropped off. All from one great big basswood tree. And the thing about basswood, if you haven't ever worked with it, is it will lose its bark very easily. So I'm going to show you my plan for all this bark that's been falling off and peeling off. And then I'm going to show you, I'm taking a little different approach to something in the wood yard. So I'm trying something different, something I've never done before with regards to stacking and storing my wood. Well, I guess not really stacking, but you'll see in a second. But first of all, I just want to welcome any new subscribers and all you other Woodhounds that are back for another episode. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. Glad you found the channel. Now, the thing with this basswood is, it was, like I said, it was a huge tree. There's a lot of firewood in it, but there's also some other stuff in it. Like you can see right over there, there may be some pieces for some future projects that I've been starting to dabble into. So like I said, all this bark has just been peeling off and coming off as I've started to process some of this stuff up. And let me just show you how easy this stuff actually does come off. All right, so now you're saying, well, that's pretty cool, Shifty. You got a nice big piece of bark there. I got a nice big piece of bark right there, a whole bunch of them. Over here, there's some more bark. So what are you gonna do with it? Well, I will show you in a bit. But like I said, check out some of these. Look at this piece. Look at that. I got another good sized one right there. I think I could get a nice little cookie out of. There's another good sized round. And then this looks like it was part of like a codominant stem or something. We've got almost like another stem that came off here. And then look at this. Just almost a 6 to 8 inch ring of wood all the way around. And then you got stuff like that piece right there. Again, all that bark has come off, but I'm thinking that might be something I could cut and make something out of. And then check out this broken piece. Does that not look like a chair or a throne? The Woodhound throne. Looks like it's gonna be a chair. If I can just somehow smooth that out and level it off, and again, something for a future project. Okay, so I'm gonna grab Khaleesi. We're gonna load up some of this bark and I'm gonna show you guys what I've got in mind. You may be wondering now what I'm doing, stacking this bark up here on this hillside. But my thought is, my plan is, I've moved Wanaka She used to be sitting over there. I moved her up here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna split and toss into a loose pile and stack this mound of wood as high as I can get it. I've got pallets underneath, but I figured on this hillside here, I didn't want the wood to be sitting on the ground, so I thought I would just take all this bark that I have and basically just put a couple layers down to keep the wood on top of it off the ground, and then any water that does get through will run off down underneath the pallets. That's the plan anyway. That's the concept. That's what's going on here. So once this pile gets big enough, I can have it spill over onto this hillside, and I'm going to use basically this bark kind of like pallets underneath it. Keep it off the ground, hopefully keep it any water from sitting underneath it, and it should work, I think. So that's the idea. That's the plan back here. Like I said, I moved the splitter, and I kind of got I'm sure some of you, most of you, if not all of you, should go and check out that wood guy. He did a little video of back when he first got into firewood. He built a huge mound, a huge mountain of wood, and I'm kind of starting to run low on space back here in the wood yard. I've got this all of this stacked up down this line, and I've gotten now to the end where this would be the ideal spot to just split, toss. And so far I've got that little bit started, but like I said, I'm going to build this thing up, and my plan is to build it almost into that hillside, and then with all that bark underneath it, my plan is it'll keep it off the ground. It'll kind of act like these pallets. Keep it above ground. Any water that runs down through will have a way to run out the bottom, and it should work. Now, if you remember in my last video, when I was in a mad dash scramble to make room for all that basswood, I ended up bringing back that trailer full of wood and I tossed it off next to where the splitter was. And here's the thing, yep, I goofed. I made a mistake. I didn't think it through. So now I'm gonna have to take that wood, what's left there, and just bring it over here to the splitter and then split it. So I will end up having moved it twice. But sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes you think you got the plan figured out, things change, you gotta adapt, you gotta improvise, you gotta overcome the situation. That's what's happening right here in the back 40 wood yard. So now we're gonna start splitting some more of this up in a little while, because I have to run right now and actually make a delivery. Something I seldom do, but I made an exception for this gentleman. So I'm gonna go deliver him a face cord of campfire recreational wood, and then when I get back later this afternoon, we're gonna get splitting this up. All right, so just jumping in here. I'm not sure what video I'm gonna put this in, but I just wanted to show you guys. If you remember back before I stopped over at my Uncle Bert's sawmill, I was out in the back 40 down on the farm, and I was getting some rocks for a little landscaping project. So I'm gonna show you what that project is, give you a little before. Well, we're actually about halfway through it. Boss man's ripping through the yard. So much for that grass coming in. But anyway, let me show you what I've got going on so far. And I also want to show you one of the rocks after I washed it up. Turned out pretty cool looking. So the whole idea is we've got this landscape feature over here, and it connects back to the pond. But then on the right side of it in the yard, it just seemed out of place. So what we want to do now is we want to connect the pond with a rock wall, and you can see we've kind of started to build it over there. So I'll go over there in a second and show you, but that's the plan. Is from all the way up on that edge of the property, so from over there we're going to make a little rock wall to connect in to that rock wall over there. So everything will kind of flow together. I've already got Khaleesi with a bucket full of rocks, We're gonna get building this thing. Here's a little better shot. So that's gonna be the end right there. And then we're gonna just kind of separate the grass from this back part of the yard, and just kind of have this little barrier of rocks go all the way down and connect up to the pond over there. So I told you that I found a pretty unique and interesting rock down in the back 40. Well, after I washed this one up, check this out. Tell me you do not see King Kong right there. It's the Kong rock. Isn't that just spectacular? Like, just look at that. I washed the dirt off, and out there was an eye socket, and then down there's a little mouth, his nose. So yeah, that is Kong, the Kong rock. He is gonna be a focal point somewhere in this wall. We'll see where he ends up, but just thought that was pretty cool, that rock right there. All right, so that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool.